Good morning, all. If you can hear me, say hello.
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 Hi.
John, do you want to go ahead and give them a little preface of what we're going to do today and how we're going to work today's session?
Today, I think what I'd like to do is spend most of our time actually teaching a couple of lessons. We've got Joe Ibarra standing by. You remember him from last time. He did a couple. Okay, Joe, are you ready?
Now, this is concept development. Remember, this workshop is for teaching in a classroom, but here's some strategies how we could either teach it in the classroom, where I'm going to go back and forth, or how you could also teach it remotely in a Zoom like we're doing today. If we are doing Zoom, our students need to have some accountability because we need to check for understanding. Remember, as a learner is formulating an idea of a concept, we have to understand their misconceptions. That's why the key to EDI is constant checking for understanding, because we want to see if the students are understanding what we're trying to get across, because if a student leaves with a misconception, it's detrimental to their learning. It'll almost fossilize. So that's why EDI to me is constant real-time checking for understanding. It's called formative assessment. So my students need to have some accountability. Can everybody on their Zoom, can you guys show me a thumbs up? Does everyone know how to do thumbs up? So we're going to teach our students how to do the thumbs up. That means yes. Can everyone take that off and put the clapping symbol? That would mean no. Another way we could do it, maybe we could get them whiteboards, but if not, we could get them a piece of paper, but we preferably whiteboards, and we could have them show me something like, show me on your whiteboards. You know, yes or no. That way we're checking for understanding in real time. That's the key. So let's teach this lesson. I'm going to be using all the engagement norms and the strategy. Now, everyone at home, let's learn this gesture. Can you do this? When we do concept development, everyone do this, please. It's an academic definition. Everyone do it? It's an academic definition. We're teaching them an academic definition, multiple examples, and then a higher order question. And this is what it'll look like. Track with me. A character is a person, animal, or thing in a story. Everyone, let's all read that sentence. Can you read it with me? 1, 2, 3, go. A character is a person, animal, or thing in a story. You know what? You know how I'm going to remember that? A character, and everyone do this with me, a character is a person, because I'm a person. Okay? Or it's an animal, because animals have funny ears, or thing in a story. That's how I'm going to remember that. A character is a person, animal, or thing in a story. But there's something else. Characters talk or do something. Everyone read that with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Characters talk or do something. Look, characters talk. Everyone do that? See, I'm talking with my mouth. Characters have to talk or do something that a person does. So now I've given them an academic definition and I've integrated a gesture. Now, what do I have to do? I have to give them an example of that. Those are just academic words. Let's see if I can give them examples of that. My turn, class. One day, a little girl named Josie was crying. Everyone read that with me? One day, a little girl named Josie was crying. Wait a second, class. Josie is a person. So she's a character, but what else? She's crying, and everyone do this, she's crying. So she's doing something a person would do, so she's a character in this story. She lost her ball. Read with me. She lost her ball. My turn. The dancing frog said, I have a gift for you, Josie. Read with me. The dancing frog said, I have a gift for you, Josie. Wait a second, class. I have a dancing frog. That's an animal. Everyone show me an animal, because a frog's an animal because it has funny ears. And it's dancing, so it's doing something that a person would do, but it's also talking. I have a gift for you, Josie. So I know my dancing frog is a character in a story. It was a new ball. Read with me. It was a new ball. Okay. Now, that was academic definition, characters and their attributes, multiple examples, Now we have to do non-examples. When a learner is learning something, your brain is taking shortcuts on the concept. So that's why we have to point out non-examples, because we have a couple of things here. All right, not a character. Everyone read with me, 1, 2, 3. Not a character. The ball is a thing, but it's not talking or it's not doing something that a person would do, so it's not a character. Everyone do that? Not a character. That's a thing, but it doesn't talk or it doesn't do something that a person would do, so it's not a character. All right? Now, I've given an academic definition. I've shown multiple examples so they can contextualize that definition. Now I ask a higher order question. With one question, I can differentiate with 3 different ability levels in my classroom. Okay? I can get to my high students, I can get to my middle students, and I can support my underperforming students. And this is what this looks like. Can the park be a character in a story? Explain. Now, in the classroom, I would let my students pair share, and I'd give them a sentence frame. It can be a character because. It's not a character because. Talk to your partners. A partner talk to B. Now B partner talk to A. At home, we will give them think time. Now, on my screen, I can see Amy, Kate, and Lauren. I'm going to use you as an example. Amy, you're an underperforming student who needs support. I know you need extra support. Okay, so I'm not going to call on my underperforming students first, because that's not going to give me a baseline of my class. I know you need to hear the answer more times. Lauren, you're a high-performing student. Okay, I want to extend your thinking. I don't want to bore you in my class. So you're going to guide my instruction. And Ms. Kate, you're going to be about a middle student that I know can help me gauge my class. And there's Patty too. So Amy, you have yes. It's a character. Lauren, no. Patty, no. Lauren, why did you put no? It is not a character. Lauren is the one who's actually teaching Amy. Her answer, this is the effective feedback. Amy, why did you say the park is not a character? In a complete sentence answer, it's not a character because. Go ahead.
It is not a character because it's not a person, animal, or thing in a story.
I can prompt her. What else is it not doing? It's not. Is it
talking?
It's not talking, and it's not doing something that a person does. Her answer is actually teaching Amy. In EDI, the misconception is, oh, the teacher keeps talking, No, I'm actually echoing my students' answers to help support Amy so she keeps hearing the proper answer. Now, Patty, a high-performing student, I want to extend her thinking, and I could do that with error analysis. Patty, why did you say the park is not a character? The park is not a character because?
The park is not a character in a story because it cannot talk. It cannot do something. It is inanimate.
It's inanimate. Okay. Okay, Patty, an error analysis, or how do I extend my high performance? Patty, how could that park become a character, or how could that tree become a character? What would it have to do?
The tree could become a character if it could talk, or if it could do something, or if it was an animate object.
Yeah, and you know, first graders do a lot of literature with animate objects that talk. I could even ask for an example. I just saw Pocahontas, the movie, and there was a talking tree that was a character in that story. Now, I've extended Patty, I've checked for Lauren to gauge my class, and Amy, my underperforming student, has now heard the answer over and over, and my students have taught her. Now I can go to Amy. Amy, you put the park is a character. Now, would you like to change your answer, and can you tell me why?
It is not a character because it can't talk.
That's right. Now remember, the reason why real-time checking for understanding is essential, it's more valuable to a teacher to understand a student's misconception than knowing why they're right. Why would a first grader think the park could be a character? I've heard many answers before. Oh, well, I saw the leaves moving. The leaves moved in the park, so they're doing something. And if my students tell me, that's very valuable information for me. So I can go, oh, they're doing, the leaves are moving on the tree, but they have to do something how? That a person does. just because they do that, so I can clarify that misconception. The basis of EDI for me is extending students with higher order questions, but then getting real-time formative assessments, real-time checking for understanding to guide my instruction. So that's how I would do a first grade lesson. Stop share, John, it's your turn.
All right, so let's just stop for a second. Did you see him do some things off of this page? I'm going to give one to start. Didn't he use a lot of gestures? Remember, gestures is one of our things for kindergarten and first grade. Gestures can really carry a lesson, and the students can't always read all the words or go back and check, but they can follow a gesture. Now, in older grades, the gestures are important too. Characters reveal their characters with what they think, what they say, and what they do. So we can use this at any level. Complete sentences, we saw that. Blank is a character because, or is not a character because. I call that teacher discipline. You never let it slip. You keep forcing, we're going to have the complete sentence, the complete sentence. I think Joe cued it a couple times. We even practiced it a couple times at first. Sometimes, Joe, we even have the complete sentence written on the page, don't we? The sentence starter.
Yeah, can I make a point on complete sentences? I've had the opportunity to work with schools that have implemented complete sentences. When the expectations are placed to your students, the students pick it up very quickly. You know, it's like, hey, we're going to do complete sentences and give them metacognition. This is going to help you learn newer words, academic words. Eventually, it'll make you better writers. And very quickly, they know. Teachers even stop giving them sentence starters because the students want to create their own complete sentences with the academic language. And it transfers very quickly to writing and to reading comprehension because you're learning so much new vocabulary.
One thing I want to say something, John. Teachers, I have to use my phone because my speakers aren't working, so I apologize. But you notice what we're not doing. We're not having the students repeat, regurgitate, and go over and over again. That does not cause mastery or critical thinking. We want them to repeat difficult pronouncing words, and we want them to do things of that nature. But when it comes to concept development, we need to have kids use mastery. And the way to do that is what Joe just showed you.
And I'll just add one more thing. Remember we said characters are people, animals in the story. They talk or do something. That talk or do something is the hook, the critical attribute that allows you to distinguish. And I know Joe said when we even had the incorrect answers, are they talking? Are they doing something? So every definition has to have some critical, you can't just say they're people in the story. It's that critical attribute that allows you to distinguish between examples and non-examples and justify your answer. So that's part of having a well-written concept definition. So let's see what else we saw. We saw the track and read quite a bit. The tracking means we pre-read, and the students usually are tracking with their fingers if they have a paper. So try to have the students read everything. Do the pre-reading for all the young students or struggling readers. And if you've got simple text for older students, we don't necessarily need to pre-read every single thing. We can pre-read a couple of words, a difficult word maybe, and then have them do it. And I know for high school, just having them join in will make the lesson more engaging. The students will be right there with you more than if you're just talking more on yourself.